Yankees are trying to make the playoffs. Bryce Harper did something different with his hair, and I think the NFL season is back. All this and more on a brand new Downright Sports. Catch it. Welcome everyone to an all new Downright Sports. I am your host, Brent Reed, the show from a fan's perspective about sports. Let's kick it off. And we started with Sebastian Janikowski, Oakland Raiders kicker, longtime kicker, second round pick of the Oakland Raiders, is taking a $1 million pay cut. That's right, he's taking a pay cut to stay with the Oakland Raiders. He's going to go from making $4 million a year to about $3 million a year. It's much better than what I'm making, but Janikowski's been one of the kickers whose name you just know. And Raiders and Janikowski, they just go hand in hand, and he's going to stay there, so good for him. Next up, the NFL season kicks off tonight. The Patriots take on the Kansas City Chiefs, who come to visit the Patriots, the defending Super Bowl champions. But the story is not, will Tom Brady throw 4 touchdowns? Will the Chiefs show that they're the better team? It's actually the commissioner, Roger Goodell, will be going to Foxborough, home of the New England Patriots, for the first time in over a year. For the first time since the infamous Spygate. Dramatic. But yeah, Goodell's going to be there. He's going to get booed. He's going to get destroyed. But guess what? He just got a pay increase. He's making like $50 million for the next 20 years to do nothing. So good for him. Finally, as we take a look at the screen, Bryce Harper has changed his hairdo. He is channeling his inner Allen Iverson. Bryce Harper has cornrows. Why is this in the must-know news? I feel it's important to note that Bryce Harper is going to maybe play some games in cornrows. This is huge. No, it's really not, but it's funny. And good for him that he's experimenting. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to hit the topic of the baseball season. It's finally something I really like talking about. I said finally, like I don't pick the topics, but you get my point. Anyway, Downright Sports. Welcome back to the Downright Sports Intergalactic Studio, where we do it all. Today's topic is the MLB season. I love baseball. Played my whole life. I enjoy it. I think it's the greatest sport on the planet. There's people like this who disagree. The NFL and all this, whatever. Baseball's the greatest sport to me. It's the only sport designed for you to fail, if you think about it. You're not supposed to see you take a round bat, hit a round ball, and the worse you are, the better you are, almost to some degree. But this year has been a little weird year. You would think that it's closer in the standards, and it's not. For the most part, if you take a look at like the American League, for example, the Red Sox and Yankees have a little bit of a race going on. Yankees are 4 games back. Cleveland is just flat out ahead, and their respective division, essentially they're 11 games up on the next best team. And then Houston has been on straight cruise control the entire time, as they are 14 games up on the next team. But if you look at the year, it looks like it's the year of the wild card. And of course, baseball has added one more extra wild card in each respective division, making a 1-game playoff for those wild cards. And those races are a little tighter. In the American League, the Yankees have a 2.5 game lead over Minnesota, Anaheim, the Baltimore Orioles, the Texas Rangers, the Kansas City Royals, and the Tampa Bay Rays and the Seattle Mariners. The distance in the gap between first and Seattle, which is like the middle of the pack, is only 4 games. Everybody's in it. If you sneeze wrong, you're out the playoffs, man. Easy. Taking a look now as we go to the computer. Basically, Seattle is 3.5 games back of the next wild card, which is held right now by the Minnesota Twins, who have a half-game lead over the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, who have a 1-game lead over the Baltimore Orioles. So it's basically, it's all over the place, man. Anybody can win. And if you look at the National League, Arizona has they have a decent lead. They're 7.5 games up in September. I think they're going to hold it down. But then you got Colorado, St. Louis, Milwaukee, and Miami. But just rewind the tape back. Now, what I said initially, there weren't any races in the divisions. I was wrong. The Central Division has a nice little race. The Cubs, yes, are in first place, but if you take a look, St. Louis trails them by only 4 games, and Milwaukee trails them by 4.5 games. And if I'm not mistaken, I know the Cubs and St. Louis are going to play each other again because they're rival teams, man, and that's what they do. They're the Yankees and Red Sox of the National League. Well, the Dodgers and the Giants are probably Yankees, Red Sox of the National League, and St. Louis and the Cubs are just in it only because the Cubs were terrible for so long and St. Louis was always better. But now that the Cubs are better, the shoe is on the other foot. We take a look at the calendar for the Cubs, and I'm on a tangent. For the rest of the season, they do play St. Louis. Next week, they play Milwaukee, where they can put Milwaukee out of the picture starting this weekend. But next week, 3-game series, and then at the end of the season, they got a 4-game series. So St. Louis has a chance to shake that tree and mess everything up, and I would be, I would love it. I would love it. I would love for St. Louis just come out of nowhere and just mess it up, and all them Cub fans just, oh no, not again. But this race is going on. I think this is the year of the wild card. I think if you win your division, don't sit back. Don't look for the Nationals, the Dodgers, or even the Red Sox. Well, maybe because the Red Sox have faced. So don't look for the Dodgers and the White Sox. The Dodgers and the Nationals to just waltz into the playoffs and just, we're going to beat everybody. It's not going to happen. I think this year you're going to have a team, or Houston. I've left Houston out because I don't believe in Houston. I think they're a cupcake team, which leads me to the MVP race this year, where everybody thinks Altuve in the American League can win it. I know I'm a Yankee fan. I can make an argument that Aaron Judge is the MVP. The best player on the Houston Astros is George Springer, who's got much better numbers than Altuve by far. And I don't know why I closed it out here, but he leads the team in home runs. He leads the team in RBIs. He's second in the team in batting average. Altuve, his biggest takeaway is his batting average. When he's batting .351, is that good enough to give him the MVP? Maybe. Judge, even though having a terrible second half, has a good season. He's had 38 home runs, 85 RBIs. He's batting .277. Most years, that gives guys MVP awards, man. I'm just calling it like I see it. More than likely, they'll probably give it to Jose Altuve, who's a very good player, multi-time All-Star, but I don't think he is the MVP. I think the clear-cut Cy Young winner in the American League is Chris Sale. No question. Who do you want in Game 1? I want Chris Sale, because that guy just got an arm that just don't stop, but I think you got to take him out by the 7th because you're throwing him too long. The only teams he struggled against this year is the Yankees and the Indians. I mean, it was called like I see it. Everybody else has just pretty much just been punked out by this guy. In the National League, though, I think it's a little bit different. There's more of a race. You got Giancarlos, who's going to probably hit 60. Paul Goldschmidt, who's batting .314 with 33 home runs, 109 RBIs. He's got his team in the playoff hunt. Giancarlo's got his team in the playoff hunt, but if the playoffs started today, Paul Goldschmidt and the Arizona Diamondbacks are in the playoffs. And then you got to look at Bryce Harper, man. The kid's batting. He's out right now with injury, but before he went on the DL, he's got 29 home runs. He's hitting .326 with 87 ribbies, man. That kind of screams MVP. But if I had to vote, I would give it to Giancarlo. He's got Miami being talked about. He's relevant. He's doing it probably as clean as anybody because he's always been big. And if you look, he's got 112 ribbies. He's batting .282. So he's not just cranking out home runs and then striking out. He's getting other base hits. So I like Goldsmith. I really do. I think he's a good player. But I might have to give it to Giancarlo. 60 home runs are 60 home runs, man. You can't just poo-poo that. You can't. And then what we looking at this year for the World Series, kids? I would love to sit here and say I'm looking at Yankees and whoever, but it's going to be a weird year. I think this is finally the year the Washington Nationals get over that hump. Don't be surprised if we see the Nationals versus the Boston Red Sox. Could be a good World Series. Game 1, you can have Max versus Chris Sale. Like, what? Game 2 could be the Orchid, Steven Strasburg, Steven versus David Price. 2 pitchers I think are overrated, but that could be your game 2, you know. And then you got Harper, you got Pedroia. This is the play. I like that World Series actually. I'm going with that. Washington versus the Red Sox. Book it. Anyway, we come back. Movies and video games. Movies and video games. My favorite topic. Downright sports. I block my face. Downright sports. Movies and video games. Check it. Alright, we always finish up every show with movies and video games. I talk about either a movie I've seen recently or video games that I play. Haven't seen any movies recently. I want to see John Wick 2. I know I'm behind, but it's alright. Anyway, so Madden just came out, and 2K Basketball's getting ready to come out, and of course MLB the Show is out already. Who does the sports game thing better? Personally, I had to look at it. I own all 3, Madden, MLB, 2K, and I think Madden and 2K have rested on their name and everybody buying it because live got bad and there's no other football games. But if you pay attention to like MLB the Show, they get better every year. They add something new, they add something cool, whether it's little nuanced stuff in the games like your celebrations or the clothes you get to wear, or you can put the Griffies on, or you know, whatever it is, something new. The storyline mode gets better, so your road to the show is a little more enhanced. You could, you know, whatever. I'm about to play it, so I'll let you know that show. But Madden, what they do, they did the long shot thing, which is boring. And in 2K, if you're a white person in real life and you do the storyline mode, you're a white kid with a black family. There's nothing wrong with that, but they don't put a whole lot of thought into it. I think they just like, it's so much emphasis is just on online. I think MLB puts a lot of their emphasis on still people buying the game and playing offline. So you know, I think Madden could be better if they had a college football game to play off of. I think I might get live this year just to get an idea. Maybe there's a difference. I know they're adding the WNBA, which is going to be awesome. So you get to play as your favorite WNBA player, man. If you have one. Mine's is Maya Moore. I think she's just the beast. I think she's the Jordan of the WNBA. I think, but they don't market her right. You know what? Next show's about the WNBA. That's right. Marking it down. I'm doing it. Next show, WNBA. You think I don't have viewership now? Wait until next week. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Did not do that on purpose. This has been another Downright Sports, and deuces.